Hello, and welcome to another live with me, Jessica, from the Tunisian Crochet Graphghan Boutique. We'll give everybody a minute to pop on here and join me. This evening, we have a free pattern coming up that is available for 12 hours. It's available until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern Standard Time, and that gives all of our global members a chance to watch and grab the pattern as well. We have a lot of different things going on in the background here. I apologize for missing the live last night. I have been under the weather, and of course that makes you fall behind on everything. So tonight we're going to have a free pattern. We're going to talk about gauge and why it changes. We're going to talk about mosaic, Tunisian mosaic borders. We have a new pillow panel that will be coming into the events that we have in the group. Right now we have the Grinch face and the tree in our mosaic events. And we will have those available for a little bit longer. And then the Grinch portion is going to fall off. And then the new panel is going to come in that is going to complement the other panel that we had that has the mosaic trees on it. Sandra posted the Hello Kitty coffee throw. Sometimes it will let you post links in the live session, so we've had to either copy and paste it or go over to the Payhip group and actually look it up. Hey, Sherry. So why does gauge change? Gauge changes a lot of times when you wash something because a lot of people don't block. Gauge changes a lot when you wash something because the fiber content either shrinks or it expands or it can felt. And those changes can happen and be significant, especially if you don't follow the laundry instructions on the ball of your yarn. So for instance, a friend of mine just made a extra large sweater and washed it, and now it is about the measurements measure a 3X, and that is because she washed it and dried it in the dryer and did not block the swatch. So blocking your swatch to get your gauge is extremely important because that changes significantly, especially if you're working with acrylics. Cotton will shrink, especially in the dryer on a higher heat or on a normal heat. So you're going to want to keep that in mind when you make that swatch to wash it, how you would normally want to wash your stuff, and or how you're going to tag your item. It's important that you add a washing instruction tag on your item for, I have permanent tags that I have made up, and that's what I put on my items. And if you work with a lot of the same yarns, it's easy to have a lot of those tags made up and custom made. Hi Anna. Hi Lisa. So that makes a huge difference in your gauge swatches and why we talk about making them and washing them, because they will change significantly, especially acrylic with the heat of the dryer, and a lot of times yarn and fiber changes too. Like a lot of the polyesters, like the blanket yarns, like Bernat blanket yarn, the polyester does not do well with softener. So they do not recommend that you use softener with it. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, I got this Bernat blanket yarn and it was really nice in the beginning and I've washed it a couple times and now it like feels weird. It doesn't feel as soft. That builds up on the polyester, and so a lot of polyesters talk about do not use softener at all with those, because it coats the polyester and it sticks to it almost like a gum or like a wax. So that's one of the huge things that they talk about with the polyester yarns is do not use softener on those. I don't even use the dryer sheets on mine. I actually use the wool balls with a little bit of the essential oils if I want it to smell, which usually I don't. My detergent that I like to use is fragrant enough. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about, is why gauge changes so much. And this is definitely something you want to keep in mind with anything that you make that's going to be in acrylic. And I know that's happened with a lot of blankets. I've seen a lot of people not do a gauge swatch in the beginning for a blanket period, and then all of a sudden when they wash the blanket, it becomes even bigger than that. I just seen a lady that's trying to get pricing on a blanket, and she made it using a corner-to-corner pattern, and the blanket's like 36 inches wide, but it's like 10 foot long. So sizing, I think it's going to be hard to move something that's that narrow but that long, but maybe she'll find a use for it. So we have that going on, and there will be a new pillow panel put in, and the Grinch section will come down. So if you want the Grinch, you need to go in and grab it this week, because this will be the last week for the Grinch face. But that pillow panel that goes with it will be there. And then we will have a hat coming. There will be a video for the hat. The video for the hat is just going to be a few stitches wide and a few rows tall, so that you guys can work out a swatch, because it's going to be important for you to have your swatch to calculate your math, because I know not everybody is going to want to use the number 4 worsted weight yarn for a hat. So I know we're going to have that question where everybody's like, I want to do something, I want to use a DK weight yarn, or I want to make it this size, or I want to make it that size. And I know everybody in here has different hat sizes that they like, and you can adjust this thing completely based on your swatch. So this will have the math for the most part for the swatch, which you should get with the number 4 worsted weight yarn. And so you're going to want to keep that in mind. And this swatch will be stretchy. The video that's going to come up is going to refer to the knit stitch in the purl stitch. The knit stitch in the purl stitch in nooking are done a little bit differently than they are in Tunisian. So it's going to look more like the purl stitch and a Tunisian simple stitch. And you guys will see when I do the swatch, we'll talk about that. And that's when you need your nooking needles. The swatch that we will be doing is probably going to be about maybe like 16 stitches wide.
You look good down here.
So we will be working that up, and the video that we're going to have is just going to be a shorter tutorial on these stitches and where to put your hook and what to do for the first couple rows. So that way you guys have an opportunity to just watch the video again and again to get where you have to go. And once you get these stitches down, it's going to be second nature, just like we know how to do the Tunisian knit stitch and the Tunisian purl stitch here. And whether you need to stack them or alternate them, like for the honeycomb where you alternate, these ones you'll be stacking them right on top, so it's just a one pattern repeat. So there will be a video coming for that early next week. I'm hoping after I get all that into there that you guys can start that swatch and get familiar with that. What else do we have going on? Mosaics and borders. This was like a huge thing that was asked in a couple places and directed, that I got tagged in a bunch of times. With a lot of other patterns, with regular mosaic, you're cutting your ends. So when you do that, you have the envelope border, which is what a lot of people like to do. Some patterns call for you to weave those ends in, and then you can do the border around the outside for mosaic. With Tunisian crochet, since you're always starting on your dominant hand side, so your right hand if you're right-handed, your left hand if you're left-handed, that border can be built into your pattern, or you can do one in the round when you're done just to cover the every other row changing of colors. So for a lot of our patterns here, we offer two options. One is every other row, you're changing color. So you will say you're working in red and white. So if you were working in red and white up the side, you would see a red stitch, a white stitch, a red stitch, a white stitch, and the same on this side. We also offer in our patterns a gap. And what a gap means is before the pattern starts, we keep 4 or 5 stitches on each side. And that way you can do your color changes in there and keep all of the outside color changes the same by using a bobbin on your non-dominant hand side. So those last couple stitches will always be that color that you have the background. So for instance, if our background is white, you would be using the white always on this side and the white always for those 5 stitches. So you would carry those up and then you would start your red in. As far as doing borders in the round on the outside, you can also do those in Tunisian. We will be having another piece done here shortly that is going to complement our pillow series, that is going to talk about borders on the outside and how to make your increases to go around the outside. So we will be having that coming up as well. So we have a lot of things coming up before the new year and into the new year. We still have our Tunisian blocks going on. The Tunisian knit stitch blocks are still going on over in the Tunisian knit stitch block event that we have. There will be 100 blocks released. So I think we're on like block 57 or something around there. So we're about halfway through it. So this will go on for another year. That there will be a block released every week for the remainder to get us to the 100 blocks. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anybody need anything? I know it's saying slow connection. Last time there were comments and I didn't get to see them because for some reason they didn't show up, which is quite disappointing. But you know, unless we do Zoom meetings, I think this is about the only way we're going to be able to do this. Or if I go on and do YouTube, and I don't know how many of you do YouTube lives or would join over there. So let me know in the comments below. We also have a few other things that will be coming this spring that I'm super excited about. This fall, we have a blanket that will be released that I'm super excited about too. That will be going out to testers here pretty soon, so I am super excited about that. And I wanted to see if anybody would be interested in a mosaic blanket cowl. I was thinking about hosting one. It would be free. The pattern release would be only like 10 rows a week. So with that, that's only like 2 rows a day. So I was thinking that that would be doable in a blanket and that we could do that. It would be Christmas themed, so that it would start around July if anybody's interested in it. It will be Christmas themed, so it will be released around July. but I don't want to hold a whole great big blanket cowl if we're really not going to get a lot of interest in it. So that's one of the things that I probably will be doing a poll over in the group for. And this blanket can be done in regular mosaic, or it could be done in Tunisian mosaic. So the graph and the written will be just about the same for both patterns. So let me know if there's any interest in that. What else do we have going on? I am excited about getting the video up of how to do the Tunisian, the knit stitch and the purl stitch in, Kira, get out of there. I would be interested. Thank you, Lisa. I'm interested in getting the video up for the knit stitch and the purl stitch in the one that we are going to be using. There's several different methods that you can use for the purl stitch in nooking, but there is a certain one that we will be using for ours. And I'm super excited about this because it makes a really soft, squishy, stretchy material, and I think that's going to be perfect for the stretch that we need in the band of the hat. And I like the fact that we're going to be working this more not sideways. I know a lot of the patterns that use like single crochet, when they do it, your ribbing is worked long ways and then you connect into that. And this is not one that will be connected like that. So I'm super excited about that. And like I said, we should have a video up here in how to do the knit stitch and the purl stitch that we will be using here in the nooking, on the nooking needles really soon. And again, if you are going to use a different weight yarn, you are definitely going to need to do your own little gauge swatch. And I do recommend washing your gauge swatch, because a hat that we're going to be making here pretty soon, y'all know people go out and shovel snow and play in the snow, and they get wet and they get sweaty, and you're going to need to wash this. This is going to be a more washable wearable, whereas, you know, something like a hexagon sweater or whatever, you're wearing over clothing, so you tend to not wash it as much as you would a hat. So I'm going to absolutely recommend that you do take this swatch and you do wash it and dry it on, you know, normal heat or whatever your washing instructions say. So pay attention to that too when you're picking up your yarn. I love this yarn, and the what the heck is their other yarn? It's the Crafter's Bee, or what's it called? Crafter's Secret from Hobby Lobby. You're going to want to look at your hook size. You're going to want to keep in mind what the washing instructions for this are. This is a 40 degrees Celsius. And so you're going to want to keep in mind what your washing instructions are for that, and follow that along pretty good, because, like I said, this is something you're going to be sweating in, so you're going to be want to be able to throw it in the washer. Or if you're donating these for like homeless shelters or whatever else, too, they a lot of times will gift something, and you have to be mindful, which is why a lot of mine that I do for the shelter, I do add the washing tag instructions in them, for like warm wash, tumble dry low, or whatever. I do add those tags into those, because you need to keep in mind, if you're making these for homeless shelter, some of these people are literally going into like a McDonald's bathroom and washing them out and then hanging them out to dry in whatever they're staying in, a car, a tent, or whatever. So I try to keep that in mind with the washing, and you know, that way they know how to launder this so that they can get the most use out of it. So I have, like I said, we have the new Tunisian mosaic pillow panel that'll be out later this week. The Grinch face mosaic pillow panel will be coming down. You can still purchase that over in my store, but the pattern for that will be coming down. We will have the tree mosaic will still be up, and then we're going to have an ornament mosaic going in with that is going to match the back of the Grinch panel that we did. So that I'm excited about that coming. That will use, I think, 3 different colors in the mosaic. But I'll have to check. But again, the lips that we did in the beginning, if you were here for that, the mosaic lips that we did use bobbins. So once you get to a certain area, then you'll add your bobbin of that color. And then you'll go back to the regular color. So you will use bobbins on some of these, but not all of them. And you can do these in monotone colors if you wanted to. So for instance, if you wanted to do the whole thing in red and white, you could do the just in red and white, and then go in and embellish it if you wanted to. I did have there's an embroidery floss that you can get that does have the sparkle to it. You can go into them stitches later on and embroider into them if you choose to, because they have like a shiny embroidery floss and stuff like that. So you can offset and embellish things after you're done if you choose to. Ultimately, with any of these patterns, imagination, you guys can use whatever color scheme you want to. Whatever's going to match your decor is the important part, because, you know, not everybody wants to decorate in traditional Christmas colors. You know, some like the pastel Christmas colors. Some people are Gothic and you want Gothic colors throughout the year. And, you know, maybe you have a Halloween Christmas tree. Whatever you guys want to do, this will open that up and be able to fit the decor. So it's just up to what you guys want to do with it. So again, I know that we offer a lot of freebies, and they're under the guides, or not the guides, but the events tab in the group. So go over there and look into the past events too, because some of them still have the patterns in them as well. And the Tunisian knit stitch blocks are still coming. And like I said, we still have another almost 50 weeks of those coming. So each week a new pattern is released. So go in and grab those. And then I have to fill out some paperwork on Facebook to monetize my channel because we get so many people. So I have to figure all that out. And I'm working on the border for the cardigan. I will be using regular crochet the back loop slip stitch for these. But when we do the video for the hat that we're doing that uses the nooking, you are also able to use that nooking for your cuffs, depending on where you want them. So if you just want cuffs for the wrist, you can do those. If you want them for the base, around the bottom, or you have bigger hips and don't want a cuff down there, you don't have to do that. It's going to depend on what you want. So that's going to play into your design your own cardigan that we will be doing here this, I'm hoping this spring. We've had a lot of things come up because of me getting sick, so I fell behind the ball on a lot of different things, and I'm trying to get some patterns in, and it's been crazy. Plus Christmas is coming, and we've got hook angels sending hooks out, and we have some local classes here that I have to catch up with for Christmas, and we have a few other things going on, so it is going to be busy here come the holidays. Lenore says, I love Tunisian mosaic. We have a lot of those patterns coming. Like I said, we have the pillow panel coming. We have a blanket if there's interest. And I'm thinking about doing it as a Christmas in July, because if we work on it and only release 10 rows a week by the time Christmas is here, you have plenty of time to have this thing done, blocked, ends, weaved, whatever you want done with it, packed up, figured out who you're going to gift it to, or to have it done and at the last minute decide who you're gifting it to. I know how Christmas can sneak up on us, so that's why I was thinking, you know, Christmas in July would give us plenty of time to do that, and then we would actually start that a little bit before July, so that gives you time to get your supplies and everything together for what we're going to be doing. So does anybody have any questions about anything? Did you guys get your nooking needles, nooking hooks? I know I'm super excited about doing the nooking section of it to mix in with Tunisian, because it's, I like how stretchy this is going to be. So I think this will work perfect for our pieces that we're going to be using this and utilizing this ribbing for. So, Sherry says, I got mine. Yeah, so we will be using 2 different stitches for this. We will be doing the nooking knit stitch and the nooking purl stitch. And like I said, there's a few different ways you can do the purl stitch. There will be a specific way that we're doing this one. Your gauge with the purl stitch that we're using, I would recommend to stick with that, because your gauge will be a little bit different if you do the other version. Like I said, there's 2 different versions. One is more of a knitting purl, and the other one is more of a Tunisian purl stitch. So the gauge for the 2 of them is going to be a bit different, and so is the look. So I will only be showing the one here that we're going to be using for this particular pattern for the hats. So like I said, hopefully we can get that video to you guys this upcoming week. And excuse me, I'm still on my 2nd round of antibiotics and 2nd round of steroids and 2nd round of all these other meds. So yeah, but I am feeling better. So, and I thank you for your patience in joining me tonight, because I know that yesterday, putting off the live, I had a few message me and say, hey, are you still going live tonight? But yesterday I was a lot worse than this. I know the last live that I did show the nooking hooks that I got, which ultimately are locker hooks. I do like the locker hooks better. I tend to like to work with metal, and the locker hooks being metal, they seem like they glide easier. And the locker hooks, the eye in the locker hook is based on the size of the hook, and the hole is different based on the size of the fabric that you would be putting through it if you were using it as a locker hook. So that is the reason why I like the locker hooks better. Although when you look up nooking hooks, you can also find these listed as nooking hooks for some reason. I guess a lot of people don't do locker hooking anymore. I don't know. I only did locker hooking once, and it was a long time ago. So this was before YouTube, so the book that I had, the instructions were not super, super helpful. So I didn't do so well. It was one of them things that I picked up and did a few rows and was like, this isn't for me. But it's good to know that I can use my locker hooks for Tunisian and nooking. So, is there any more questions about anything that I talked about this evening? Please take a look at the Tunisian knit stitch blocks. Like I said, we have another just about 50 more weeks to go with those. So I'm super excited to see what you guys use those blocks and make. Those give about 10-inch blocks, so you can pretty much make Afghans. There's so many different things that you could do with these. Hats. You can put a design on the front and the back and do them using the Tunisian and the round, like we do the stockings that we have here. Also, we have another stocking coming. And that will be coming here pretty soon. And I know this has been a little last minute for our stocking because with me getting sick, I truly intended to release this like 2 weeks ago. But there is a few different things that we're going to be doing. So I'm super excited about those as well. And again, you know, I find that with some of these, with some of the stockings, I like the fact that a few of the ones we've had have stayed up for the whole year, because then that gives you an opportunity to kind of play around with some things and discover what you want to do with the stocking pattern. And that way you can make up a few different things. So like, say I wanted to make 5, my goal for next year might be, I want to make 5 stockings for everybody in my family. So everybody gets their own stocking. Then that gives me the opportunity to go and make 5 cuffs. And then I can start on the stocking portion. And I feel like sometimes when you have pieces that are going to be put together, that it's easier to work up one piece and then do that and then work the stocking up and then put the heel on. But it depends, you know, and you have an opportunity to change out the pattern. And we have the blank stocking that we originally did available. And with that, you know, you guys can always come and say, hey, I want a letter B for this stocking, or I want this or that. Can you design that? And those are fairly easy and quick to design. And then you could, you know, do your stockings in the way that you want. So I'm super excited about those. Anna says she's been making washcloths with the blocks, which is nice. Like I said, there's going to be a ton of blocks. And then in February, we're going to have a love keyhole towel. So like I said, we have a lot of things coming up here in the group. And I am sure that Deborah is probably going to have 1 or 2 more things coming up in the group here as well. I haven't spoke with her in a little bit because she's been exhausted. There's been some things going on with her. So she's getting some well-needed rest and recuperating from all of life, which is a good thing to do, which is what I will be doing this weekend. Lots of recuperating and crocheting and sleeping. So, yeah, it will be nice this weekend. So, does anybody else have any questions about anything that's going on? And, like I said, hopefully I can have the nooking video out to you guys. It is just going to be a short swatch that is going to explain what the stitch is, how we're going to make it, and ultimately that will give you an opportunity to do a swatch and work it up. And once you get the hang of that, like I said, you might have to watch the video once or twice just to get it, because we're not going to make this like a whole big long video where we're going to talk you through it a million times, because the repeat is exactly the same. So we're only going to do about the cast on and a few rows after that, but that's pretty much going to be it, so that you guys can just work that piece up. You're welcome to make your piece wider if you choose, and if you choose to make it wider and you want to make a scarf or whatever out of it, you can. But like I said, we will have the video coming up for that. Hopefully this next coming week I should have it done, or we should have it done here. So if there's anything that you guys need, don't hesitate to reach out. If you ask for a pattern from me, hit me up. Like I said, with me being sick, everything has kind of backlogged, and I've had some messages move down the page. So just hit me up. I'm on the mend, so hopefully I can get a few of the ones that I was working on done. Like I said, it's been interesting. All right, guys, do you have any questions, comments? Would you be interested in doing the big blanket? Like I said, I figured 10 rows a week. I know that every one of us could crochet, 2 rows in an evening, no problem. I'm kind of excited about this one. I really do like how this is going to come out, and that'll give us time to have it done in plenty of time for Christmas. Everything would be released before then, with the information on what hook size you're going to need, how much yarn, and everything else. So I would like to release that about a month early on your supply list. So that gives you an opportunity to catch whatever yarn place that you like, to catch their yarn on sale. For me, I know when my yarn's going to go on sale because I like Hobby Lobby, but that doesn't mean that everybody has to use Hobby Lobby yarn or has access to a Hobby Lobby. So I want to make sure that that gives everybody an opportunity to grab that. And like I said, if you're interested in doing that, the big blanket, one thing that you need to be aware of with the big blanket is there will be some bobbin work that you can put into this blanket. There are a few different colors in it. The bobbin work with the colors is going to make this more interesting. Like I said, it's a Christmas pattern, so it would be a bigger blanket. And I'm super excited about seeing this come alive. I really like this pattern. I did this pattern about 2 years ago, and I was going to release it, and then something seemed like it was missing. And I know you guys like to decorate or like to do things. You stand back and you look at it and you're like, something is missing. And I figured out what it is, and I'm putting it together now. So I'm super excited about this coming together. So like I said, I probably will talk about this blanket more in May. And when we do this in May, it's going to be the release of what you're going to need, We're going to set up the tutorials that you're going to need because we're going to have the anchoring video, which is on our YouTube channel, and the video for the modified extended front post Tunisian simple stitch and all of those. So I'm super excited about that, and all of those will be in there. But again, if you are interested in doing it in regular single crochet and the regular mosaic overlay, then the directions will be available for that as well. Personally, I like to do the single or the Tunisian ones because with the return pass, you're always starting on your dominant hand side. You don't have to cut the yarn, so it takes less yarn. Even though we use a bigger hook for Tunisian than you use for regular crochet, when you're cutting all of those tails and you're leaving, 6 or 8 inch tails on each side, and then you're doing the envelope border or whatnot, it tends to use up more yarn. So that's another reason why I like the Tunisian. I guess I'm biased. What can I say? There are so many different crochet stitches, and for me, Tunisian is a little teeny weeny niche that not everybody likes. And when you are known for Tunisian patterns, even though I design in every stitch, I'm known for Tunisian crochet. People tend to think that I don't design in any other stitch, but I do. So I'm excited about the upcoming events that are coming, and I implore you to go over and look at the Grinch mosaic cowl that we did, and look it over and look at the back panel for that, and that back panel that we did for the Grinch with the trees. We will be doing another one with the ornaments, and if you're not familiar with bobbins, this is the perfect time to jump into that because it's small. It's not going to use a lot of bobbins. And with this being a pillow, anything that you cut, you weave on the inside, on the back, and you really can forget it. I like that, with the inside of a pillow, this is something that's going to be the backside. You're not going to be worried about as much. So if you don't like, if you're just learning and you're like, I'm scared to anchor, so then you don't anchor the front side, but you anchor the back side, you get to see the growth in your work and how much better you did on one and the other. That's what this is all about. We're a teaching group, and anybody that has questions, please do not hesitate to message me, and I will message you at my earliest convenience. I do not mind helping someone through Messenger. I cannot tell you how many of my testers and members that I work with behind the scenes that message me, because that's what we do here is we teach. And I know we have Graphghan in the name, but we do other things other than Graphghans. We do a lot of different Tunisian things here, but we mainly revolve around using graphs for about 60% of our patterns. So that's why we have the Graphghan in our name. Anna says that was one of my favorite designs. Yeah, I did like the Grinch and I did like the tree. So now we're coming out with another one that will complement the trees because not everybody is into characters. So this I like. Depending on how the pillows go, I was thinking about hosting a 4-panel event. So one panel would be spring, summer, winter, and fall. So that way you could take your pillow panel and flip it. So you'd have spring and summer, and then winter and fall. So you'd have 2 different pillows. I was thinking that would be a nice decor element. Some of us need refreshers from time to time. I definitely can say that I need refreshers too. I had not done a single crochet in so long that I was doing a pattern and it called for a single crochet, and I actually had to go in and watch a YouTube video on how to do a single crochet because it had been so long that I had a complete blank mind on how to do it. So again, if you guys have any questions during any of these patterns or in the events, or you found an old event and you're looking for the pattern or whatever, like the warm embrace shawl that we did that was so popular. I literally worked on my warm embrace shawl as Jerry was going to physical therapy, and the second that I bound off, I didn't even get a chance to block it. There was a woman there, and she'd go wash her hands, and I knew what she was doing. She'd go wash her hands and come out and say, I washed my hands. Can I touch that? It's so soft. I love this. And when I was done, she said, how much are you going to sell it for? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I was thinking about asking this amount. And I said, but it still needs blocked and all that other stuff. And she goes, my sister knits and she knows how to block, and I will have her block it. But she said, you know what? Give me a minute. So she went over to the ATM and came back and bought it. So I didn't even get a chance to block it or get a picture of it when it was finished. So I do appreciate those that sent me pictures of theirs, because I didn't even get a chance to really get a good picture of mine. So it was super exciting. And just like Sherry did the cat eye shawl and did it in the glow in the dark yarn, and it came out amazing, and she didn't even get a chance to block it, and people who were speaking up for it. So, you know, it's amazing what you can do with a stick and some yarn and a little magic and some ideas of color, and make enjoyable, exciting things that everybody wants. So if you guys ever have any questions, like I said, do not feel like you can't PM me. Message me on Facebook. I do not want to be one of those designers that's like, oh, well, she's a designer, she doesn't have time. I answer the questions that you guys send me when I get them, and if I am busy that day, then I answer them that evening. So don't hesitate to reach out to me and look through our events. We have a lot of freebies over there, as well as our files, and go through our guides. If you're new here, our guides have a lot of information about gauge swatches, stitches, hooks. There's so much information in there. So again, go over, grab your free pattern. The free pattern for this evening was the Hello Kitty coffee throw. So go in, and even if you have to, just go into the Payhip and search that, and it will come up for you, and it'll say free. And if you log into or create a Payhip account, then it will go to your email, so you don't have to worry about it just being on your phone. It will go into your email as well. So if you guys need anything, let me know. We'll see you guys shortly. Bye, guys.